certainly I'm not on their level in terms of the way they think about the game in 1v1. Game
Alright, so
2
here we
then.
are in,
Yep, sorry, go on.
yes, game 2, Hero Fennec, with Terra Incognita casting between BlackMagic and DeathTacticus on the second game. DeathTacticus took the first game. What do you think about this map, Terra?
So Scavenger is really good. Straight off the bat, it's really good. So I think I would be surprised if we don't see 2 Scavengers. The Iron's kind of a little bit off. Oh dear, DeathTacticus goes expansive, calling me out on that immediately.
Once again,
I guess,
34k in debt.
yeah, that's a lot of money, and again, like he did this last game as well, and BlackMagic again with the scientist, so we're seeing the same HQ types as last game. This is low-key a really good scientist spot as well. He's got the steel triangle there, he's got a water triangle there as well for him to put food down, perhaps. I guess the carbon wasn't quite that good, because the only high on the map is next to a bunch of lows.
Lows.
So yeah, I'm still a little bit surprised we didn't see a scavenger though. So DT...
DeathTacticus is clearly thinking this is the best spot in the map, taking it for 34k. That does put him next to the Silicon, which BlackMagic is all the way on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and a glass colony and silicon started high as well. Glass started high as well. So DT obviously prioritizing that immediately. And yeah, that's the only silicon on the map. So it's going to be difficult for BlackMagic to get the glass he needs, perhaps, to win this game. DT is worth noting with the 3 aluminum mines, just looking to make as much aluminum as he can in the early game, and maybe just
driving the price down, making some easy profits there.
Yeah, I mean he seems to be stockpiling it rather than selling it down. So I would imagine his plan is to just make all of the aluminum he needs for the game, and then transition it out into something else a bit later on. BlackMagic still HQ1. He's about to get the upgrade right now.
Yep.
So we'll see what he does with these claims. I would imagine a 3rd steel mill will come down, and then food. He can't afford food though. Oh, food's really tough actually, because the glass is so expensive. So to put down those farms is going to be painful.
The 3rd steel mill. I am a little bit worried about how slow the start is for BlackMagic, but we'll see if he can turn it around.
Yeah, it's very slow indeed. And you can see he's not able to get... Oh, is he going to make glass? He's buying up a bunch of silicon with that, so maybe he's going into glass instead, and that might not be a bad move. But all of that silicon that he's buying up is just feeding DeathTacticus money.
Moving into electrolysis reactors, I wanted to point out that DeathTacticus has left his aluminum and moved into 2, now 3 glass kilns.
Yeah, and this is going to be really difficult for BlackMagic to come back from, and there's the Marsquake to make things even more difficult for BlackMagic to put down any more claims. DT just has a huge resource advantage at the moment. He's going to have an even bigger one with the glass. And this is a pretty big lead that DT is stepping out to.
Yes, it does appear to be a big lead. We haven't quite seen it in the cash on hand. We're looking at 23 versus 14k between the two, about a 10k difference. That should increase a little bit.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I guess the oxygen for BlackMagic, that's what he's because to try and make this glass as unprofitable as possible. He bought into a bunch of oxygen, but again he's had to sell it down, and DT gets to HQ3 well before BlackMagic does. I guess he's only 5k away. In fact, he's not even that away. He will upgrade basically now.
Failed EMP from BlackMagic onto the lone defended glass kiln of DeathTacticus.
Yeah, some good mind games.
3k. DeathTacticus realizing that without Cook the Books, he does have to do something about his debt a little bit faster than the last game, moving into double geothermals at 180 power each.
Yep,
BlackMagic is also moving into some wind. At least one tile. BlackMagic reaching level 3. So far, has only put down the single wind.
the electrolysis is actually doing quite some work for him. Actually, not so much for the fuel, but mainly for the oxygen, which is staying good because of these glass kilns. The EMP does drop on the power, but again, he's a scientist, so he's going to shrug that off relatively easily.
Thinking about carbon, but decided to go into a goon geothermal instead.
So neither of these geotherms are gooned for DT. He does have a mutiny though, so he can take it back immediately if BlackMagic decides that's what he's going to do.
Now, if BlackMagic noticed that, he might decide instead to EMP one of them.
Yep, he does have a spy on the leftmost one, and the mutiny comes in on the wind turbine, so I wonder if BlackMagic... I guess he doesn't have a cooldown at the moment.
Double mutiny from DeathTacticus.
Dear. That's
DeathTacticus trying to go for all the power. I believe the last game I saw in the round robin stage, if I'm remembering correctly, between DeathTacticus and BlackMagic, one of the ways DeathTacticus did win one of the games was by driving up the price of power and successfully denying BlackMagic any power throughout the game. And so this seems to be an early repeat of the previous matchup before them in this autumn/winter 1v1 tournament.
Yeah, I think that might be right. And I mean, it certainly works in 1v1. BlackMagic in a bunch of debt now, 100k. He crests just as he sells all of that oxygen down. Again, the glass isn't quite so profitable anymore for DeathTacticus.
But he's making 1k a second in power.
Yeah, it makes a. I mean, it pays off his debt, so it doesn't give him cash in his pocket. But still, it's gonna be money in the long term. No cook the books this game either, so that debt is real debt, as it were. And he's not going to be able to just spend his black market cooldowns on reducing those interest payments.
BlackMagic successfully mutinying DeathTacticus' geothermal vent. Just as power starts to crash, unfortunately, for paying off his debt, he will pay a little bit off. DT could have remutinied it back if he wanted to, but instead decided to goon his high water pump.
So BlackMagic into food, and there's one claim just been distributed by the game as well to both of them, so I wonder if we're going to see more food for BlackMagic. It is very profitable at the moment, especially if you are a scientist. BlackMagic does have the upgrade. He chooses instead to EMP DT's water.
And then take the upgrade.
And so DT goes to 5 though, and that's kind of a big deal, because there's a lot of stuff on World at the moment that's making a bunch of money, and with Offworld's not very good, that's going to work out very well for DT. I would probably expect to see an optimization center come out of him at some point. I mean, they're not great in 1v1s, but they're pretty good here. Unless he thinks he can kill he can make enough money to kill BlackMagic when he upgrades. That's a possibility too.
It is. We'll have to see how it plays out. What I'm curious is what BlackMagic does if and when he goes to level 5. There is no... Okay, he's going to start shipping water resources.
And he still has claims unused at the moment as well, yeah, from level 4, so he's still got 2 down. The EMP comes down onto the glass, and the glass suddenly got very good once again.
BlackMagic bought into a bunch of silicon, throwing down 2 glass kilns himself, wanting to get some of that glass profit.
DT's silicon, though.
Some of that from DT.
He had a bunch saved up, so again, just money that goes straight into DT's pocket, and now he decides to attack, buying 2 of these shares of BlackMagic. He can buy a 3rd as well if he wants to sell down.
Yes. I do not believe that DT has enough income to make this buy, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, BlackMagic needs 2, DT needs 3. So you'd think
that at this rate...
Oh, that EMP hurts though.
Before the EMP, BlackMagic had enough income to defend himself. Now it's a little bit hairier.
He's having to get out of that steel as well and go into something that's going to more immediately make money, which is the glass. DT only needs 2, BlackMagic also needs 2. He almost has enough for the 4th pip, but it might just be too little too late.
BlackMagic using that magnetic storm to keep those shipments from coming in.
So
now it's
again.
2 ticks to 1 tick. BlackMagic does have enough to buy.
Yeah, he's making some money from his glass, but DT is just in a bit of a lead. He needs
DT
about
just
5 more
10,
thousand.
5k left. BlackMagic, DT should have this.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Not
sure
what
he's got it.
BlackMagic can do at this point.
And there's the concession. So DT takes this series 2 games to nothing, and really good play with the expansive, founding early in both cases, and making sure that the debt he accrued immediately didn't particularly matter.
Yes, in this game, especially kudos for DeathTacticus for realizing that glass would be an issue with its glass colony, founding near the only source of silicon on the map, making. Let's see how much money he actually made from glass. Glass was his largest moneymaker at 136k.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that he had control of that silicon market for basically the whole game. And BlackMagic tried to buy in, but as soon as he bought in, DT just sold a bunch of his down that he'd stockpiled. There was nothing really he could do. Whenever he bought that silicon, he was buying it straight from DT, just feeding him money.
It's
So,
difficult sometimes to play when there's these single found areas. I'm not sure where else on the map BlackMagic could have found it. Just scrolling around on here, there's nothing really up near the silicon to do anything.
yeah, I mean, it was interesting. BlackMagic said that in chat that DT took his spot and he should have gone for it earlier. And I guess that was the case. I mean, with the glass colony and with everything there, you need to be close to the silicon, but you also need your base resources as well. And that might have been why we didn't see any scavengers this game. And that might have been why. Sorry, go on.
DeathTacticus mentioning in chat really quick that he power started half, so he felt a lot more comfortable taking on that 34k in debt, knowing that he wouldn't earn as much debt from power early on before he could make it at level 3.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yes, as BlackMagic's saying, he's defaulting to the only other founding location on the map, and I tend to agree. I don't really see another founding location.
Yeah, I mean,
tough.
Yeah, it was really tough, and I mean, this science spot was okay, but again, like it was just so few resources to actually work off, and the only really profitable resource in the early game was the carbon, was the glass, which he needed silicon for. So yeah, well played DT, 2-0.